Yo, cool people. Welcome back to Mac Music Review. Today we're looking at the album Excellent by Propaganda, and this is the album cover. Excellent is Propaganda's major label debut. I guess you can call it that. I'm gonna call it that. It's, I think he has done albums and projects before this, but this was his first one with Humble Beast Records, the Christian rap record label, which is just, like the best record label of all time. I have a Humble Beast hat. I'm not wearing it for this video. I will in my next two videos, which are also going to be Propaganda album reviews. But I decided to, jump into some Propaganda albums and talk about them. And we're going to start with Excellent, the appropriately titled major label debut that kicks off with the track Don't Listen to Me. A song where Propaganda introduces the listener to himself, and it's probably going to be a lot of people's first introduction to him because he's a very obscure artist. Even on Humble Beast, it's a very obscure record label. Not a lot of people have heard these rappers, but Propaganda has some exposure. He's been featured on like Lecrae songs before, and through that he's probably one of the more well-known rappers and one of the bigger rappers on Humble Beast. But he introduces them. He says, he likes his wife and mangoes, and it's kind of like a spoken word piece, and that's Propaganda's style, is kind of like talking but extremely poetic. It's kind of like just like reading poetry but with music. And I say poetry because his wordplay and his ideas, more his ideas than his wordplay, but he goes to some deep thinking, which you're going to see on this album and really all of his albums. He's a deep thinker, and he introduces a lot of interesting ideas. And this is a very great introduction, not to just to the album, but to the artist Propaganda. The next couple of tracks on the album are really, instead of doing big statements and having these big clear themes, they're really just songs that are meant to kind of hype you up. Songs like Redefined Cutter, with its southern, raw kind of energy, like, gruffy, that's not a word, gruff vocals during the chorus from the guest feature. You also have the songs Raise the Banner and Conquer, which all just have this energy of triumphant, energetic, kind of pump your blood type music with really unique production and great hooks and great songwriting and great rapping. They're all really good songs. A shift happens on the album highlight and standout Preciousuritans, where Propaganda takes shots at the Puritans, who are very elevated by, Christians and the church, and they're quoted. And he talks about how that's difficult for him as a black man to hear, a white pastor quoting Puritans who he says owned slaves. And the song is extremely vivid, and most of the credit I will give to this song is because of the production. The lyrical content is really biting and sharp, but the production, you hear the moaning of these people on a slave ship, basically. You hear the boat creaking. You hear seagulls flying overhead. I mean, or not necessarily seagulls. You hear, seabirds flying overhead. And it's the music and the production. You hear like chains. It's crazy. It's a crazy song. It really takes you into this world, and the lyrical content is just feels so vivid while he's saying it, when it's accompanied with this music that makes you feel like you're there as he's describing these situations and setting the setting for the song. It's a very, it's just a very vivid song that is really excellent. Forgive Me for Asking and I Ain't Got an Answer are very difficult songs where Propaganda asks really hard questions that he can't answer. Questions regarding theology and parenting. Specifically, I Got an Answer is about parenting and what happens when it's apparent that you failed as a parent. I Ain't Got an Answer is the hook. And Showbrock is also on the song, who talks about his son that has autism. And these are two hard songs with excellent production that just works to make the lyrical content even better. But especially in Forgive Me for Asking, the production and the music on Forgive Me for Asking is really excellent, and it's a very slow and thoughtful, and the vocals feel kind of kind of close and intimate, and also kind of sad when the guest who does the hook and asks the question, or I mean says the statement, "Forgive me for asking," and they're two extremely good, hard-hitting songs. It's hard to pin down exactly what the lyrical content is on Warm Words, and more than just, you know, having a clear lyrical theme, it's about a mood. It sets this mood, like, you know, listening, what does he say? Something about listening to Coldplay, like something on a cold day listening to Coldplay or whatever. And it's excellent hook, excellent production. It's a mood setter, and it works super well in that way, and it just sounds really, really great. And I have to say, a big thing on this album, the reason the album sounds, it has a very specific kind of sound, and there's a lot of background vocals, and that's all coming from Beautiful Eulogy. They're the guys who produce this, and they produce a lot of Humble Beast records, and their music just has this sense of life to it, and this sense of, like, human energy. It's hard to put words on it. That's, you know, accomplished by a lot of background vocals and a lot of this really organic, interesting music. And you know, and yeah. I keep saying you know. You don't know this. Why do I keep saying that? I gotta stop saying that. After that is Lofty, a song that is the most Christian song on the album, that talks about the power and the grandness of God, about how the glory and the majesty of God and his, you know, ability as a creator, which is, you know, it's a very good song. And then after that, there's Be Present, which is not a song, it's like a speech that Propaganda gave at like a convention about being present. It's, you know, he ties it to his dad, and it starts off comedically, and it's not the best, like, spoken word thing that Propaganda has done. Like, he's done this, he did this in the future after this album, and he definitely did it better on other albums, but, you know, it's solid. It's not, in my opinion, the best way to end the album, but the message at the end of the speech does hit, I think, and it hits pretty well. Yeah. Excellent is the best word to describe excellent is excellent. It's just excellently produced. The music is really great, all thanks to Beautiful Eulogy. The rapping, of course, and the lyrical content is really, really strong. The subject matter, some of these songs hit so hard. Forgive Me for Asking and I Ain't Got an Answer hit so hard. Lofty kind of hits. Like the more upbeat, they're not hyper, the more like pump up songs, like Conquer, the hook on Conquer, bro. But none of the songs are too long. They're all underneath 5 minutes long. Some of the songs are less than 3 minutes. And it's just, you know, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's a very succinct, purposeful rap album. And that just hits so hard in so many places. And I'm going to give it a 4.5 star rating out of 5. I think it is excellent. Yeah, I ranked this above Channel Orange. I ranked this above Channel Orange, my best albums of 2012. I'll link that in the description. But anyway, it's a great album. Is it his best album? What is the best Propaganda album? If you're a Propaganda fan, which of his albums do you think is the best? Honestly, between this and Crooked, it's a really hard call. It's really hard to say which is better between those two albums, because they're both, of course, extremely good. Thanks for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day.